welcome to my tea party. Guys, this is the best kind of party to have because I don't have to clean my house. That's like the worst part of it. I'm at Silhouette today. They're running everything to make it look smooth, and I so appreciate that. You guys, I am so excited to show you guys how to make a tea party. My name is Amy Robison. I am a designer in the Silhouette design store. I've been on there about 8 years, I think. And my favorite thing to do is host parties. And even if it's just parties with my little family, that's probably one of my favorite parties to do. The pressure is a lot less. Like I said, you don't have to have your house as clean because I would rather spend my time crafting. So today I'm excited to show you how I craft with my Silhouette. When I first got my Silhouette like 8 years ago, I was so excited because I was like, finally, I can customize things the way I want. And I can make a design this big or this big. And it just opened up a whole new world to me and all the different materials that you can cut. And then everything just took off and now I'm out of control. So let's go ahead and get started today. During this class, all of these designs that I'm showing you will be free in the Silhouette Design Store. And I'm going to go through and show you how to access those designs and download them, and then take you step by step to create this. If you do have questions, we have some. Tell me any questions you have and we can answer them in the chat. Also, I like to say during my classes, there are a million different ways to do things. So if you happen to have a tip or a different way that you like to create something, maybe you have a custom setting or something that I'm not sharing, I would love for you to share it in the chats because we learn so much from each other. So please don't be shy to share any of your tips that you might have in the chats. Okay, let's get started. We'll go ahead and head to my computer and I'm going to show you how to access all of these designs. So when we are in the Silhouette studio, if you look right over here, in the top right, there is a button that says store. So we're going to click on that, and that's going to bring us to the Silhouette Design Store. This is where you're going to find the millions and millions of design. I don't know how many there are, but there's a ton in here. If you go to the top, right here under Artist, this is an easy way for you to find my designs. And look, you can follow Artist. Luckily, my name is Amy, so I'm right at the top. You don't have to search too far. If you click on that, it will take you to all these designs. And you'll see that I love to decorate and create for holidays. I love to give little gifts to people that I make. Anyway, so we'll go through, and if you scroll down and we skip to page 6, you will be able to see all of these designs that coordinate with the ones that we're doing today. So I have the design numbers and I'm going to read those to you. And that'll tell you exactly which ones we're going to use, because like I said, there's a ton that coordinate and it might feel a little overwhelming. So I'm just going to give you the ones we use today. And then if you want to take off, there's other ones you can grab to go with it. So our first design is 57482. And you'll just type that up here in this search bar and it will bring it up. And wouldn't you know it, I already own that one. But if you don't, you can just add it to your cart. Okay, our next design, I'm going to take you through each one. These are in your list, but if you don't have them in your list, just go ahead and add them to your cart right now with me. 57481. We'll type that in the search bar. And this is another pattern paper we'll be using, so you can add that to your cart. Next is 56921 for this 3D rose. This is one of my favorite flowers. I use it all the time. Our next one is 56918. And this is our little tea bag and butterfly set. Oh, I love this one too. Okay, 56916. These are teacup cupcake wrappers. So put that in your cart. And 56904 is our doily placemat. 75677. we have some little stems. And then our last design we'll be using is 76997. And that's a few more stems. So you guys can search those, add those to the cart. They are free while we do this class. And you'll have everything you need to get started. Okay, so once you add those to your cart, you'll purchase them and then you can download them into your design studio. So I'm going to close this because I already have them in there. And then you'll find them by going over here to the top right, library. And if you have just downloaded them, you might have to go down here to the bottom in the bottom left and sync your computer again. And that'll just reload any new designs so that you can see them in your store. You can look in all files and you'll see a whole bunch of different designs, but I've already put them in a folder. And all you have to do to make a folder is you can, I'm trying to remember, on mine, I'm in my computer, it's an Apple, it might be Control or Option, I don't know, whatever kind of computer you're using, you can create a new folder. And then we are going to, you just click and drag them over. Let me show you. You'll just drag them into wherever they need to go. Now I'm going to have a rogue design, but that's okay. All right, so in my tea party folder, like I said, I have a whole bunch of different designs that coordinate, but we don't need all of those today. So you're just gonna, once you have your design that you want, you're going to double click on it and it will bring it right into your Silhouette Studio. Okay, and you can see right here, this is the design for the rose. It's kind of crazy that this design will end up making a rose, isn't it? I'm going to zoom back out a little bit. So I have already gathered all the designs and I've put them on here. When I create, I feel like I'm a little bit messy when I create in here because this is what I love about Silhouette Studio. First of all, there's so many ways to customize your designs, but you can also go outside of the cutting mat. So this is your cutting mat right here. So I can play around and say, okay, well, I know I want my paper to be about that. So if I'm doing a 12 by 12 paper, it'd be there and you can kind of fit around. Here's my tea bag. And I know I want that, but I might want it later. So I love that you have this option to play around and figure out how everything's set up. I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how to set up your page. Right now, let me zoom in a little bit so you can see better. If you go over to the right column at the very top, you'll see this little page button. And that will give you, this window will pop up so that you guys can adjust all your settings for your cutting mat and the paper size that you'll be using. I am on the Cameo today. That is the machine that can cut up to 12 inches wide. And my cutting mat I'm using is the 12 by 12 cutting mat. So you'll see your options for all your cutting mats here. And then the size for this, my printer at home only printed 8.5 by 11. So I changed my letter size to 8.5 by 11. So even though I don't have a smaller mat, the smaller paper will still work on it. Okay, so once I printed my paper out, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and show you how to do that right now. I would drag my paper over and it is going to print anything that is in that paper size area. Now, the reason I'm not shrinking it to be small like this paper size is because I want the butterflies to be this size. So I'm just going to fit it on there. But when I go to print, so I hit File, Print. Now my printer isn't hooked up, so I'm not actually going to print it here, but I'm going to take you through the steps. So hit File, Print. If you go into Settings first, this is where you can pick what printer you're going to be using, your paper size, and all of that. So that's okay. So you'll, like I said, this will change for each printer, depends on which one you have. And then when you hit print, you'll get another box that pulls up. This is my biggest tip, is to your quality of paper. I recommended printing on like a good quality. I have a matte photo paper that I really love. Silhouette has this white sticker paper, the finish on that, like if you're making stickers, oh, it holds the color so beautifully. So you're just going to select that you want it on whatever paper you're doing. And if you move your ink to best, you're going to get really great prints. So for all your print and cut things that you make, this is my big tip. Or if you're printing out pattern paper, adjust your settings and that will give you a higher quality print and it'll look like it came from the store. Okay, so we're not actually going to print today because I have already done that. Okay, so now we have it set up. If we wanted to print, we've done that. And I'm going to bring one of my cut files down. So the one I am bringing now is the cupcake wrapper. And you know what? I'm going to go over here. If you look over here in the top right in the page setup, you can go to grids. Let me show you. Right now I have show grid and you can turn it off. I'm going to turn it off now so that it's easier for you to see. But I normally work with it on because I love seeing the rulers to see how big things are. And like if I'm piecing papers together on my mat, I can see where they're running off. So right now I'm going to turn that off so that you guys can see this better. And you can play around and set it up. Let's go over here on the top, on the right, not the top. And you can hold down Option and you get a plus sign and you can duplicate that way. Or it might be Command and Control depending on what computer you're on. There's also windows over here that can replicate. So if you come right here and let's say we want to, like, you can go like this and it will, I only had the one selected. Oops. Sorry, guys. Give my computer a minute. It's really trying. Anyway, that button, until I clicked on it, it would fill the page with however many designs will fit in the direction you have it. Okay.
Someone is asking what size should they cut that piece, the cupcake wrapper? Do you have a size?
The size, so when you put it into your computer, like it's downloaded, let me start over. It is already sized to fit like a standard cupcake. Now, depending on, I feel like that can vary depending on where you buy your cupcakes and when you make your cupcakes. So you do have, this is why I love the Silhouette. You have the ability to adjust it. So if you're like, you know what, I'm making mini cupcakes, you can make it really small. And if they're jumbo cupcakes, you have the ability to size it. But what they are set at now is just a standard size cupcake that I made at home. I did grab some cupcakes from the store today though, and I think they're a little bit smaller. So I'll show you a trick for that too. If you don't want to adjust it beforehand, we can just snip off an end and tape it. But I do love that you guys can customize to whatever size you want. Because look, you guys could also do this around like a little mini 6 or 8 inch cake. Like what if you had a tiny cake and it looked like a giant teacup? Wouldn't that be so cute if you had a wrap around there? Okay, so let's just cut one so that our cut is fast. I'm going to take these others off so that we only have to cut one of them. And when we are ready to cut with the Silhouette, everything, because my page size is adjusted, even this stuff over here on the cutting mat won't cut because it's outside of this red line. But just to make sure, you can always slide everything off, just make sure it's all clear. And you want to make sure you have everything right inside this red line and that will cut. You guys, look how close it goes to the edge of the paper. Oh, I love that so much. Okay, let's go ahead and go to send. And this is where we're going to set up all of our cut settings. So if you go at the top to material, you can see all the different kinds of material it can cut. So we've got chipboard. I've been cutting some stencil material for a future project, which is so fun. Right now though, my cardstock, I always choose the heavy cardstock, the textured. And I already know that I have to bump it up a little bit for this paper I'm using. There's so many different kinds of paper. Yeah.
Some of the attendees are asking if you would fill the cupcake wrapper. They're having a hard time seeing the cut lines. Could you fill the cupcake wrapper with some kind of pattern so they could see that better?
Let's go back. Okay. Oh, and this is how it went back. I just clicked over here on design, and now I can go back to the design. So you just click on this, and let me find it. Over here is this paint palette. This is our fill panel. And we're gonna go ahead, let's do yellow. Will that be a good fill color? And then you can see right there. Did that work for you guys? Can you see it? Is that better, or do I need to pick a different color? We like that one? Okay. Do you know what else I just realized? I must have ungrouped the handle. Do you guys see how my little teacup handle isn't on there anymore? You saved my bacon. Thank you, whoever asked to do that. I appreciate that. Okay, right here. That's the one I made the too little though. So I somehow deleted that handle out. Okay, I'm gonna fill that in for you guys. Right here. Is that deleting it out? Maybe that's what's doing it. Let's see. I think it's just covering it. I think this is behind it. So that's what it should still cut. Let's test it. Okay, this is what I think is happening when I'm doing that. And I'm gonna go through this right now instead of brushing over it in case you see this. So when I am filling this, I think when I have layered this and grouped it, that this handle is below this outer wrapper, but you can't tell because it's all transparent. So then when I fill it with this yellow, it disappears. But if I go back to transparent, you can see it. If I go back to white, it looks like it disappears. So I really didn't delete it. I just covered it up. But let's see if it'll still show the cut lines when I go into send. And if it doesn't, then we can fix that. Okay, yep. So Silhouette still recognized that there was a cut line even though it got covered up. Okay, I hope that helps some of you guys because you're going to come across things like this when you're working. So don't panic. Just hit undo a bunch of times. That's my favorite button. And it can all be fixed. Okay, now we're going to go to the cardstock. And like I said, you might have to test around on your paper because there's so many different types of paper. I have noticed that even if they're the same weight, that sometimes like the finish on the paper will make a difference with your cut settings. And so let me show you how to test that. Let's go ahead and I think it's let's do one that I know will be too light just to show you a test run of it. Okay, so I know that a 2, I already know, so don't use this setting. I'm just showing you what happens. That if I use the number 2 blade on this, the level 2, it's not going to cut through my project. But if I want to test it out, instead of wasting all the space to cut this, you'll just go right down here to the bottom right and you'll hit test. Okay. Oh, hold on. I didn't load my mat. You guys, get it together, Amy, huh? Is that what you're thinking? That's what I'm thinking over here. Okay, let's load the mat and then we'll do the test cut. All right, we're gonna go over here. Let me show you this. So I have set up my mat to look exactly like it looks on my screen. So I've put the paper in the same corner that it shows on my screen. And now I'm going to load it in the machine that same way. So I'm going to take the edge of this. It might be a little hard to tell because it's clear, so it's hard to see. But I'm going to line it up with this dark gray line right here, the edge of it. And I'm also going to make sure that the front of my mat is flush with these rollers right here. Okay, and then I'm going to hit this little up arrow, and that is going to feed it in. And because I'm using a mat and I've selected it during my design, my page setup, it knows how far to feed it in. Okay, now I'm going to select to do a test cut. And I'm going to show you that my blade isn't at the right setting. But because I did a test cut, it's not trying to cut everything, and it's we're not going to waste a whole bunch of paper. So if you look right here, see how I lifted this up? And you can't even, now if I kind of bend, you can kind of see like I can lift off this top layer of paper. The test cut cuts a little triangle inside of a square. And it's just right here, but you can also adjust where it cuts at, which I don't think I knew that for a couple of years. I don't know why I didn't even like bother to try. So I'm going to show you where it's at in case when you have everything set up, maybe your top left corner isn't, there we go. So right now I have the top left corner free, but if I had this set up differently, let's go back to design so I can change it. So let's say it worked best. I could get more on a paper if I had them this direction. Well, if I go to do a test cut, it's going to cut right into my design. And so you can hit these little arrows down here by the test cut and you move it over. And when I'm clicking this, it's actually moving my blade. So I'm watching the blade on my machine scoot over as I click this little button down here by the test cut. And now when I click it, let's change it to a different cut setting to see if it works. Now when I test it, it's going to test it over here in this area. So first it's going to go back and adjust my blade to the right depth. And then it's going to come over here and it's going to test it. But I messed up on, I scooted it in wrong, you guys. What is happening? Let's try that again. Here we go. Here we go. We're going to do that one more time. Does this make you feel better when you don't get things right the first time, everyone? That we all do it, huh? That's actually why I love crafting, because I love like the trial and error and like making things work. Because when you finally figure it out, like, oh, such a good feeling. Okay, it's going to adjust our depth again. We're going to go to 5. And then it's going to come over. It's cut the triangle and now the square. Okay. So I'm going to press this down arrow. We're going to unload it. And you'll see this time when I peel it off, see, now it is stuck to my cutting mat because it actually cut through the paper. So there's the square and the tiny triangle is left. So that shows you how tiny. Okay. Now let's cut this for real. I hope you guys haven't lost all hope in me. It's all good, huh? Okay. We're going to stick this back in again and load it up. And this time I'm actually going to go back to design because remember I did that test cut in this corner to show you a failed one. So now I need to scoot this over a little bit. Okay, let's cut this for real and we'll get to crafting all the good parts. Okay, I've got all my settings are right. I know because I did that last test cut. Now I'm just going to hit send. And now it's going back over to the auto blade. And it's going to cut it out for us. It's done the little handle. And now it's working on the big outline of the wrapper. Doesn't this beat using scissors? And like if you're doing a party and you have a whole bunch, this will save your bacon, man. Okay. So we are going to pull this out. Look at that, just glides right out of there. Okay, now I'm going to take this mat and my computer and I'm going to set it aside and we are going to make all of these fun things. Okay, we've got the cupcake holder and this, I love this because this little tab, you don't need any glue and you're just going to bend it around and you can try to wiggle it in like that. But one of the best ways I have found is I will just fold up one of these corners. I hope you guys can see that a little bit. I'll fold up one of the corners and it will make it smaller to insert. And then, I don't know if you guys can see in there. Anyway, I'm just unfolding the corner. So you'll just unfold it so that they're all smooth. And then you've got your cupcake wrapper. And it looks a little, the shape looks a little bit off right now because of this cutout. But once you stick your cupcake in there, then it fills out round. Like I'll show you right here. So this cupcake wrapper right here, You can see it's just the shape has now taken the form of the cupcake wrapper, and you have your little handle, and it looks like a little teacup. And then I also cut some little butterflies and stuck those in. So that's how you do the cupcake wrapper. And like I said, you guys, you can adjust this for any size cupcakes. If you're doing tiny ones, big ones, it'll work. That's the beauty of a cutting machine, the Silhouette, because you can customize for all your desserts. And who doesn't want to customize their desserts, right? Okay, this next part, I'm going to show you the teacup. I know this isn't a teacup, but I thought it was so cute how you could see through it. Now, these are all plastic, you guys. I found them at Michael's. And I am obsessed because they're like a thick plastic. They look like real china dishes. And these look like real like metal utensils, but it's all plastic. And I love it because it's sturdy enough that you could like hand wash them and use them again. I actually have plates from them from other years that I do that with some of them. Or they can be disposable, whatever you need them for. But I love that they're plastic, but they look so nice. So especially if you're having a kid party, you don't have to worry about them breaking anything because it's all kid friendly. But also if you're doing like a bridal shower or something, it looks nice enough for like a formal event like that. Well, not so formal, but for adults. Okay, so we have our little cup. If this isn't a teacup, it's even cuter. With the little tea bag, but I just love these glasses that you can see through it. This is a little tea bag and it is attached to this little butterfly. I'm going to pull it right out here so you guys can see this better. So you can put people's names on these and use it as like a place setting. You can fill the little tea bag. Let me stand that up. Maybe that'll help you see it better. You can fill the little tea bag with little treats. Or I did a little tea party for some of my nieces and we put in some little gum and mints. And I don't know why, but kids love those. And they thought that was the greatest to have their own little bag of mints. So let's make this tea bag. This tea bag, it's a little fussy to fold it. But once you get one done, then you'll have it down. So when you cut this, you're not really going to be able to see on this pattern paper, and the back's white. So I doubt you'll be able to see that there either. But there's a bunch of lines, like score lines that have been cut. And you are just going to fold along all of those score lines, okay? And this will help you make sure everything is folded right. So we're just going to go through and fold all of those. And then it might take some manipulating for like these little corners, this little pocket that I have right here. That corner takes a little manipulating. So I'm going to show you how to do that. Okay, so first, we're going to fold. This might kind of help you see. So we have the big panel. This is one of the sides, another big panel, a little side, and then this is our glue tab right here. And I love this glue. I took the wrapper off because it was all goopy. I can't keep it clean. You can find this at Michael's. It is called Tombow Mono Liquid Adhesive. And I highly recommend this for paper because the reason I love this, it holds so well. Like glue sticks won't hold 3D paper as well, especially cardstock, I don't think. I know some people use hot glue, and I do use hot glue sometimes. I'm going to later today. But sometimes that can be bulky on things like this. So I love this glue because it's so strong that you just need a tiny bit and it dries really quick. So it's not like a kid's like a white glue that they would use in school that like takes 4 weeks to dry because they use half the bottle on it. So you just need a tiny bit of it and then it will dry super quick. Okay, so now we have like a little box and we're going to go down at the bottom and this is going to fold similar to a gift. So if you're wrapping a present, you're going to see that there's little score lines that will help you fold that corner down. Now we're going to go to the other side. Okay, and you're going to see little corners, and then it will help you fold it like a gift at the bottom. Okay, so we fold it in the sides. Let me see if I can show you that better. So it has score lines to help you pop in the sides, and then to fold that up and fold that down. Okay, and that kind of like you would wrap a present. So I'm going to go ahead and glue that. We'll just put a little bit of glue right there. Okay, and then to help it, I'm going to stick my finger in and push down on that seam. And now this is just a cute little bag, which I love it like this. But if you want to make it have that little tea bag shape at the top, now I'm going to show you how to fold these. And this is where it can get a little tricky. So just go slow. And luckily, this is being recorded, so you can go back, pause it, watch it, take it slow, or maybe you'll just sail right through. So these little fold lines right here, we have another angle. And we're going to fold this back. I'll try to move my fingers in between each step so you can see it, because I know it's tiny and my fingers are not. So you might not be able to see what's happening. So you're going to fold that behind, and this side, you're going to fold this side behind. Okay. So it's kind of all caving in. You guys see that? And then you're going to, I'm trying to do this so that you guys can see, but it is a little tricky because now we need this center one right here to pop back out. So it's going to kind of go like this. And then down here, it's going to pop, it's going to curve back in. Okay. So that's kind of what's happening. Can you guys see that? And then as we squeeze that together, it makes that edge, that side. Okay. And then we'll just do the same thing over here. So I'm going to do it one more time for you so you can see it a little bit better. And then, like I said, this is being recorded, so you guys come back and watch it again. I believe they put it on their YouTube channel, Michael's will. So you guys will have access to view it again. Okay, so this is how you kind of how you fold. Then we'll squish it together. And now you have a little tea bag. And it's also a treat bag. So then I just took some string and tied it to the butterfly. And the butterfly has this little notch already cut in it. So when you get this file, it's all ready to go. This will sit right on the lip of the cup. It has a hole for you to put your string, has the score line so you know where to fold it. And then we just set it right here in these adorable glasses. And it's ready to go. And then, like I said, you can customize the name for a place card. Okay, this next one, we are going to make the roses. Let me bring these over here for you so that everything will kind of be in the same spot as we're working. Oops. Okay, so here's our rose. We'll kind of look around it. You can use tissue paper, coffee filters, whatever you want, just something that's really thin. And we are going to use that for the inside. So I'm just going to cut that real quick. And we just need a little square. It doesn't need to be anything fancy. And I'm just going to pinch in the middle and scrunch it up. So just like tissue paper in a gift box, gift bag, that's how we made the center there. And then we have this cut file that we cut out. So this is one of your free designs. And this is the size that I used for this flower pot. But like I said, you could make these bigger. You could do itty bitty ones. Like, oh, I just had an idea. Wouldn't these be cute if you had like drink stirs, you know, and you made tiny ones that went on top? That would be adorable. That could go for any party. Okay, now I have this glue gun and I'm going to show you guys how to make these. So we are actually going to start on the outside. This is the center of your flower, and this is also the base of the flower. So you'll see right under here. We're going to start at this end right here and just roll. Kind of like you would roll it around a pencil. And we'll just keep going all the way around the spiral. It's trying to sneak out from us. This is another thing where I'm like, I hope I can show you beautifully without my hands getting in the way here. So if you can't see something and you need me to slow down or show you a different angle, please just let me know. Okay, so that kind of, I like to do one and let it go to see like, is that kind of what I want? And I think it is. So we're gonna tighten it back up. And now this time, I brought a pipe cleaner. Now I didn't use a pipe cleaner for these because it might look a little tacky for like this design, but I thought it would be easier for you to see on the camera. So we have a little pipe cleaner here. And next I'm going to take the hot glue gun and I'm going to glue this pipe cleaner to the base. So that circle that's at the bottom. And then while that's still hot, I'm going to press this down in, okay? So that's what we're going to do now. So I'm going to get my glue gun. Probably burn myself, but that's okay, right? Our scars from our crafting. Here we go. So I'm going to stick that on there. And that's our stem. And then I'm actually going to do a little dollop of glue right on top of that stem because this pipe cleaner is thicker than a floral wire. And then I'm going to stick this right on there. And it's going to spread out a little bit. And while it's still hot, you can kind of manipulate it around to be the shape you want. Okay, and then we'll hold it still. And if there isn't enough glue, just come back in. Or you can even do it from the top. You know what, this one I'm going to do underneath. I'm sorry, am I getting this at a good enough angle for you? Like I said, please stop me if I'm not. So now you've got this little 3D flower. You can see that stem in the middle, which isn't the cutest. So luckily we've got our little tissue paper. I might have actually done that too small. Let's do a bigger one. And we're just going to rip it because it's just being crumpled in the center anyway. I'm going to take this. So we'll stick some more glue in there. And I'm just squirting it right down in the center of the flower. And then we've got our little blossom right there. And I glued it to the table. Sorry, Silhouette. Do you guys think they'll invite me back? There we go. So now we have our flower and then you can just stick them in a pot. Wouldn't it be cute if you had a teapot right here? Oh, that would be a darling. I get all these ideas as I'm going. Okay. So once we stuck those on wires, I just have like some styrofoam in the bottom of this pot. You could do that floral styrofoam for arranging flowers. Just stick them in. And then these are just like loosely placed in there. So these are those little stems. And you just stick them in there and it helps it make a little more full. And now we've got our flowers. Okay, the last thing I want to show you, or just kind of talk about and go through, that's all the things we're going to make right now. But I want to show you just some different ways that you could decorate with all of this. So these butterflies, they're just flat butterflies. And I kind of bent along the edges, similar to what I did for this teacup. So you can see it bent like that. And then you guys, you can stick them. I'm going to come back over here to the display we've got. Maybe I'll leave this cupcake back. So you can stick them like right to the edge of things to make it look like it's fluttering off. Should we glue it a little bit? Let's do a dab of hot glue right here. So you can do like these little fluttering butterflies. I did this tea party in my parents' backyard for my nieces. And I cut out giant, you can see it on my blog. So if you go to amyrobison.com, you can get to my blog. Oh, stinking glue stick. Let's stick that back in there. And then I have a tea party posted and it will show you. I cut out giant butterflies and stapled them to my parents' tree. And it looked like a swarm of butterflies was going up. And there was all sizes, like there was huge 12-inch butterflies and it got smaller. And then we had these old doors for like a backdrop and there was like a swarm of butterflies going through that. A little bit similar to, I'm sure you guys have seen like the Halloween bats that everybody does in their house, the swarm of bats. So it was just all these fluttering butterflies and it was so pretty. I loved it. You guys, I think that is it. Do you guys have any questions on anything silhouette, party ideas, anything like that? If you think of questions and while you're typing them, I'll just show you, here's the little doily, how we use this. It would also be great. You could put it underneath your flowers. You can use it as placemats. So right here, I've used it as a placemat, but you could also stick it right under your centerpieces and use it there. And like I said, you guys, these are so cute. And they had more than just this pink style. I think there were some that already had florals on it. Like I said, these are from Michael's. And I have bought things like this before and I just wash them after. If it's just like my family, I'll just wash the dishes after and then we save them for another party later. I like the pink, like these really generic ones, the ones that are more plain, because I feel like you can use them with a larger variety of parties. So you can customize them by your decor and then just keep using them again. Or like I said, if there's a huge wedding or a shower or something that you're doing, they're also great for disposable. Okay, do we have any questions? Are we good? You guys already know everything. You saw me mess up a bunch of times and fix it. So now you guys know too. Okay, you guys, thank you. Oh, you have one?
They're just asking if they have access to the video after the class. So
yes, it will be on Michael's YouTube channel. And I think, did she say it'll take about a day to get on there? Is that right?
Yes,
if you don't see it this
on
weekend,
YouTube in
I'm sure
24
it'll be
hours.
up by the beginning of next week. And they have tons of classes on there, you guys. There's so many that you will love to go through. And another question?
just what brand of glue? Can you tell them again? The brand of
Yes.
glue
So
that you
this is
used?
from, I grabbed this at Michael's. This is the Tombow Mono Liquid Adhesive. So the brand is Tombow. And I just get the ones with the green. Sorry, I should buy one with a label just to show you, but I always get so gunky that I'm like, makes me look like a slob, so I can't be showing that, right? Anyway, I love this stuff. It works so well. Highly recommend it. And then, yeah. It also, if you guys have questions, I am on Instagram. I know a few of you that met me there before this class saying you were excited to come, which was so nice. I loved hearing from you. I'm Amy Robison Design on Instagram, and it's not Robinson. I know it's weird, but go to the Silhouette store. You'll find my name there. And like I said, I'm happy to answer questions on Instagram, or if you want to email me, whatever works best. And I also would love if you guys do parties using your Silhouette and design. I would love to see them. So either message me on Instagram or tag me, because I would love to see them and cheer you on. Okay, you guys, have a wonderful weekend. Thank you for coming. Bye-bye.